You need to unmute your mic here, Awal. Yep. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you
All
hear
right.
me?
Of course, of course. Okay. On behalf of Dr. Phil Hadley here, you can take over to speak on the Middle East opportunities, GCC in general. Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much, Hifza, and good morning to everyone who is joining us, depending on where you joining us from. Hifza, are you going to control the slides, please, or do you want me to control it from here?
Yeah, I'm here. If you want me to put on the next slide, I can do so.
Yeah. So good morning. Phil Hadley is not able to join us this morning, so I will be taking his place. And my name is Awal Hussein. I'm the Halal Sector Manager at the Agriculture and Horticulture Development Board. So today's presentation is about opportunities in the Middle East, and I'll mainly be concentrating on lamb export from the UK to the Middle East. Can you go to the next slide, please?
Okay.
So the biggest question many of you may be asking is, does the UK really need to export to the Middle East? And the simple answer is yes. If you look at where we are now, the majority of our export goes to Europe. Now, we know Brexit is around the corner. France, for instance, we export over 30% of our chunk to France. However, with Brexit around the corner, anything can happen. If we do go for a hard Brexit or a Brexit without a deal, then there will be tariffs put on our products, and it's very likely that our products will no longer be very competitive in terms of price. So it's important that we look for other markets, and that is why the Middle Eastern market is very important for us. Next slide, please. So, for those of you who are joining us from around the world, if you're not in the UK, you may be asking us, what have we got on offer? What can the UK meat industry actually offer? The UK has got a vast land that is very suitable for grass production. That is very suitable for grass growth. So a lot of this land is used for grass production, which is then in turn used to feed our animals. So a good chunk or a large proportion of our animals are largely fed on grass. And as you know, some of the principles of halal tayyib is very important. What you feed your animals is very important. And also grass feeding has got a distinct flavor. So the quality of grass-fed animals is very important. We also know that animal welfare is very important from the Islamic perspective, and the UK is one of the highly regulated countries in terms of animal welfare. So the welfare of animals are highly protected during farming, during transport, and at the point of slaughter. And in terms of environmental sustainability, we do have a number of systems, and we are working towards some systems that will ensure that our impact on the environment, or the impact of the environment during livestock agriculture, is highly minimized. And also the last point is that for those of you looking for halal, we do have halal certification bodies who can guarantee that your products are 100% or are consistent, produced in line with the principles of halal production. So HFA, as you know, is one of the certifiers, and they have organized today's webinar. Next slide, please. So for UK exporters looking at exporting to the Middle East, there are a number of things you need to know about the market. We know that the Middle Eastern market, they can only produce, or they produce around 10% of what they need. So 90% of the meat requirement for beef and lamb is actually imported into the country. So there is a huge room there for the UK to go in, for UK exporters to go in and compete for the 90% that is exported to the region. There is also, we know that figures from the HMRC indicate that in recent years there has been an increase in the volume of British lamb that is exported to the Middle East. Between 2018 and 2019, there was a rise of 319% of the amount of British lamb that was exported to the Middle East. So that is a huge chunk. And as I said, that 90%, there are major players like Australia and New Zealand who are already in the market, but then British exporters have got an opportunity to compete for that market. We also know that meat is an important forms an important part of the life of Muslims in terms of social events, in terms of religious festivals. Meat is an important component of the diet of Muslims. So that is that is a factor that is influencing the volumes that is going into the region. And we know that the population is growing. In 2017, it was 250 million, and it's projected to hit 265 million next year. So that is a huge population. And we also know that they've got higher disposable income. So the propensity to spend and the high disposable income works well to sort of project a very good future for the export of meat to that region. Next slide, please. So I'm just going to take you through some of the major markets in the region. It's important to reiterate that the Middle East in general is an important market, but there are some three key markets I just want us to have a look at so that we know what the characteristics of those markets are. Next slide, please. So you may be asking what we currently know about those markets. So in 2019, that was last year, AHDB, the organization I work for, carried out a survey of the region. So we visited some countries in the region, including the UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, and Bahrain, to interact with major exporters or major importers in the region so that we will understand what they were looking for in terms of products, in terms of quality, in terms of where products were coming from, and things like that. And as a result of that, we produced comprehensive reports for those four markets. And also recently, that was just, I think that was in June this year, we appointed an agent in the region. So the duty of the agent is to assist British exporters to be able to understand what is going on in the market, and also assist our exporters to be able to differentiate our products from the rest of the world, because the Britishness of our product.
So I'm the presenter, I can see.
Is very important. So, and also for exporters, it's important for you to realize that every year annually we attend Gulf Food, which is scheduled for I think the 17th to the from the 17th of February. So we plan to go if the virus does not prevent or that does not lead to the cancellation of the event. We still intend to go to Gulf Food next year. So if you are an exporter interested in accessing the market, you can give me a shout, and then we can discuss what opportunities exist for you in the region. Next slide, please. So as I said, I just want us to have a look at a number of markets. So first of all, Saudi Arabia. We know the population is around 34 million. 70% of them are below 30. So what that tells you is that the population is relatively younger. And if a population is younger, that means they've got a huge amount of workforce. Many of them will have a lot of money to spend. Many of them will be adventurous to try different dishes. So that is what the population will tell you. We also know that the imported meat is mainly used by religious tourists. So Saudi Arabia, Muslims, as many of you will know, go there for Umrah and also for Hajj. So religious tourism is huge in the country, and most of the imported meat will be consumed by religious tourists. We also know that the indigenes or the natives will prefer to slaughter their own animals. So they will either import live animals or they will slaughter animals that are reared in the countries. We know that there are no tariffs on fresh and chilled meat products, but there is 5 to 7% tariffs on frozen products. So that is very important for those of you who are exporting. In terms of prices, there have been recent increases in the price of products from Australia and New Zealand. Many of you will remember there were some bushfires and there've been a number of issues that has led to increases in prices. So there have been some increases in prices. If you look at the graphs to my right or to the right of this of the slides on you realize that export from Europe, particularly from Spain, is going up, and also price seem to be going up from Europe. So that is showing you that, look, price from the likes of Australia is going from New Zealand is going down. Ethiopia seems to be stable, but export from Spain is going up and prices too is going up. So there is some appetite for European products. There is some appetite for UK products, and it is a market we need to continue to explore. So the market has been in terms of consumption, volumes have been affected by a number of immigrants leaving the country and expats leaving the country due to lowering of oil pricing, and also there have been some increases in taxes and also in VAT. So many people are actually leaving Saudi Arabia, and that has actually affected the amount of meat that is consumed. And also COVID has led to the stoppage of religious tourism in the country. Next slide, please. So in terms of population, so we're looking at the UAE now. Population is 10 million, 20% of them are locals, and 80% are visitors or immigrants into the country. The economy is concentrated around tourism. So tourism is very important. So it leads to the consumption of meat or food. So that is, that in terms of oil prices and oil reserves are going down in the region. So tourism is what they largely depend on. Domestic livestock is used, as I said, for festivals. It's similar to all markets. So the domestic livestock will be used by indigenous mainly for festivals and also for social events. But imported meat is used largely by immigrants and also tourists. So in 2018, meat consumption per capita was 82. I think it's one of the largest in the region. So 82 kilograms was the meat per capita consumption. It's important to note that, as the first speaker said, halal certification is very important in Dubai. If you do not have a halal certificate for your products will not be allowed in. So if you need to get a halal certificate from a recognized certification body. In the UK, I think we've got about 4 recognized certification bodies that can issue export certificates to the UAE. Next slide, please. So the last country I'll be looking at is Kuwait. Kuwait has got one of the smallest population, but it's important to note that they've got the highest currency in the world. So in terms of oil reserve, they've got the huge oil reserves. Prices of meat is also high because, as I said, the economy is good in that country. And the per capita consumption is around 47 kilograms, and that was in 2018. Red meat import was valued at around $282 million. That is a huge, huge market. Can we go to the next slide, please? So for those exporters in the UK, as I said, we have produced some reports for those regions. So we've got reports for the UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and Jordan. These are comprehensive reports that highlight the major exporters in the region, but they are only available to UK exporters. So if you are in the UK and you want access to this report, please give me a shout and I'll be able to send you a copy of any of the reports that you may be interested in. Next slide, please. So in terms of production standards, as I said, it's important to have a halal certificate for the various regions. So in terms of production standards, there are a number of standards you need to comply with. For UK processes, the most important one is GSO 993 2015, and that is regarding slaughter. The other ones are 205, 1694 2005, GSO 2055. These, the latter two are regarding safety and also segregation and other things. Those ones you would already have complied with it through your BRCs and your ISOs. So the most important one is GSO 993 2015. And you can comply with this via your halal certification body. So if you're having troubles, contact an accredited halal certification body. As I said, accredited. If the certifier you are using is not accredited, your products will not be allowed into most of the GCC countries. So before you go for a halal certification body, you need to confirm with them. And when I say confirm, you need evidence from them that they are accredited. There have been instances where products from the UK have been destroyed in Dubai because people did not have the right certification. So you will be losing your products if you do not have the right certification. So in terms of the GCC standard, is applicable to countries in the GCC, and we know the countries in the GCC are the UAE, KSA, that's Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, and Oman. So you should know where these standards are applicable. In the UK, before you export, you need what we call a halal export certificate that will be issued by an accredited certifier, and a health export certificate. The health certificate will be issued by the competent authority, usually by vets, and the halal export certificate is issued by an accredited certifier. I must reiterate and emphasize that the certifier must be accredited. Make sure they have an accreditation. Next slide, please. So again, I'm emphasizing the need for halal certification. Always ask for an accredited certifier. If not, your products will be destroyed at port. Next one, please. So this is an important announcement that was relayed to us by the Saudi Food and Drugs Authority. What they're telling us is from the 1st of March, any meat product leaving the UK to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia must carry a halal certificate that is issued by an accredited certifier. I keep saying accredited. Don't just go to any halal certification body for a halal certificate. Some of the halal certifiers will issue a certificate. They will not be allowed in. Your products will not be allowed into those countries. So before you go for a certifier, make sure the certifier has got an accreditation before you go for them. So from the 1st of March 2021, no product will go to Saudi Arabia from the UK without a certificate issued by an accredited halal certification body. Next one, please. So there are some challenges I must reiterate in terms of exporting to the region. Exchange rate fluctuations is a big hindrance. Seasonality and price, as you know, for those of you who know the production system, I'm not gonna bore you too much with the production system, but there is some seasonality, and that seasonality affects prices, but that's not the focus of this meeting, so I wouldn't be boring you too much with that. Shelf life is another issue. Some countries can offer up to 120 days of shelf life. We cannot offer that. We can only offer to a certain maximum. So you need to be aware of these things before you go into that market. Next slide, please. I think that's the end of the presentation. So thank you very much, and apologies again that my colleague, Dr. Phil Hadley, could not join you today. So he has asked me to come in and present on his behalf. So if you want to get further information from this presentation or to understand what UK has to offer, please contact me on the email. If you want any exporters from the UK, you can contact me and I'll put you in touch with the right exporters. Thank you very much to the HFA for inviting us to do this presentation. Thank you very much.